Thank you for coming.
How's Smitty?
I think he will be just fine. If you'll forgive me, I'm going to get down to business. I need to understand how you two view your relationship with Smitty.
We're friends.
Okay. What about you, Ginny?
This is all my fault. Is there something wrong with me? Does the way I feel about him mean that is it wrong?
Do you care about him, Ginny?
Yes. I care about what happens to him. Is that the same thing?
I think it's good to care about people, don't you, Ginny? I guess what I need to know is if you two are willing to help him.
Absolutely.
Now understand, if you get involved with this, you're going to have to consider it an absolute commitment. We have to keep Smitty's emotional environment as stable as we can for a while. I can't have you jumping in and out on me.
Okay.
Well, first you need to understand some things. We had a long talk with Smitty last night. I know that sounds pretty incredible, and no, it wasn't easy for any of us. He told us a lot of things, including his own version of what happened at the swimming pool. I understand you're acquainted with the story.
Yes.
We can't tell at this point how close Smitty's perceptions come to reality. So let me caution you that what I'm going to tell you is his side of the last 15 years. I don't yet know how accurate any of this actually is.
Okay.
What I'm about to tell you, Smitty had never told anyone before. That day at the pool 15 years ago, Russell had drowned Smitty when nobody was looking. He never told anyone because Russell had hung over his bed at the hospital and threatened to kill him if he did, if he ever said another word to anybody. Dying once had evidently been enough, and Russell had said all that, done all that, right under his parents' noses. He didn't stop there either. He punished Smitty every day of his life, little miseries, tiny tortures, making himself Smitty's only envoy to the rest of the world. He'd even made Smitty believe he'd put a bomb in his brain, a bomb that would go off if Smitty ever said a word or touched anybody when Russell wasn't around. All this mixed with such brotherly love, just enough petting to keep a little boy completely enslaved.
Why didn't he tell somebody?
Because he believed. Little children have a very tenuous relationship with the world. They're just learning how things work, what the rules are. Russell started teaching Smitty the rules when he was very young. Why would Smitty have questioned them?
But what about his parents?
Russell told Smitty he was an orphan. He said we bought him at a garage sale, along with an old set of tires. He said he didn't want him touching his mother or me, and so he never could.
Russell was a good babysitter. We saw no sign of any of this. It's not as if we didn't pay attention to our children. I'm a good mother. I've always worked hard to balance my work and my domestic roles. I could have been working full-time. I could have had a good job. But I chose to stay home with my children.
Okay, Maggie, okay. Everybody knows you're a good mother.
We had good doctors. They were certain Smitty had brain damage. We tried to work with him. The harder we pressed, the further away he went. It's strange to me that this story should be coming out now, after all these years. If there was any truth to it at all, we would have noticed something, and it would have come out long before this.
Don't forget, you've got 2 sons.
Well, okay, we don't know exactly where the truth lies. We're hoping to get to that point eventually. What we have to concentrate on now is helping Smitty to integrate what is inside of him with what is outside.
We should have brought that boy in here years ago and gotten this out into the open.
The only reason we're here now, and the only reason why we're having any success with him at all, is because Smitty decided, himself, to come to me. Because he decided it was time. If he hadn't been willing, there might have been serious damage done. I can't tell you how deep these things go. His relationship with you two, especially with you, Ginny, has been eroding his distance from the world. So yes, in a way, it is your fault that he's here. Because of whatever it is that exists between you, he finally had the courage or the desire to come here. That decision he made last night was more significant than you understand. He took a tremendous risk. The moment he began to talk to us, Russell's bomb went off. We very nearly lost him.
What are you saying? He nearly died last night? This doesn't make sense. You can't die from talking. Are you saying Russell has some kind of voodoo powers or something?
Not Russell. Smitty did it himself. The body is very obedient. What the mind believes, the body will often make reality. People who are sick, if they believe they're going to die, often do. On the other hand, if they believe they live, that can change conditions in their bodies dramatically. We're working with a group of patients now on reconstructive imaging as one of the approaches to healing their cancers. Being alive is a very complex thing. My science is not an exact one, but I tell you, I'm convinced that each human being more or less builds their own reality. You are what you believe you are. We make images in our minds of what will be, based on what we believe or want, what we're afraid of.
So, what you're saying is, Smitty nearly killed himself so Russell wouldn't be wrong?
Yes, more or less. What Russell taught him got built right into the hardware, so to speak, and when he triggered it, his body did what he believed it would or should do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the background. Your job has nothing to do with Russell. Your job will be to teach Smitty that he doesn't have to die just because he wants to be alive.
Where is he?
I'll take you down there in a minute. I need a moment alone with Mr. and Mrs. Tibbs. You can wait for me outside.
Doesn't this scare you?
What I want to do to Russell scares me.
What if I hate him? What if he turns out to be someone disgusting? I feel so confused. How can I like him this way when I don't even know him?
Come on.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Don't you think it's a little late for that after last night?
This is not... I don't think I can do this.
Would you really leave him in this place all alone?
Okay, guys, follow me. I'd like to see you both here as many afternoons as you can afford. The more time you spend with him, the quicker things are going to settle out. All I want you to do is be there with him. Do the best you can to treat him and each other the way you normally would. Except you have to keep in mind that emotion, especially his own, is a language he just doesn't speak yet. Don't expect him to pick up anything subtle. Be nice and be patient, but don't patronize. He seems to be a tough-minded kid. If we can just get that toughness working for him instead of against him, real friendship can be very healing. Now remember, don't push him. Don't talk about the situation or his family. Talk about school. You talk. Don't expect him to. He's having a hard time matching up the vocabulary in his mind with the feelings of the moment. It'll come. He's incredibly bright. But for now, I suspect he feels very much at a disadvantage. Maybe even humiliated in front of you all. Think of how you would feel. And remember, he's still somewhat sedated. Good luck.